Hello and welcome to our second project on Spark AR Studio, and now we are going to work on creating a Flappy Bird game. So this is similar to the first product where again I am going to give a ready-made code block. So to make you familiar with this, to work on patch editor before you completely get involved and build a game from the scratch, I want you to be exposed to how to use this patch editor to understand the concept. I am giving another one simple game. So let us now start again by launching MetaSpark Studio. Now to start with, I have shared with you some resource files. As you can see here, I have shared a file called flappybird_.zip. So in this file, if you just unzip it, and if you open it, you have three files that I am sharing with you. One is the image of a bird, another is the obstacle, and then the code file which is called as ARP. ARP is the code file. Now double click Spark Studio 167 and wait for it to launch, and once it launches, if required, log in with Facebook Studio, and then once it is launched, click on the blank project. So we are going to start with a blank project. So I will maximize it. So, and you can see my image is appearing here. I will go to file, go to save, and first I am going to save this as flappybird_game, and I am going to click save. Now here, if you are not seeing your image, you have to come here. If you are seeing some other image like this, click on this Logitech webcam, or you select your webcam and your image will be visible here. Okay. Now the very first thing we are going to do is we are going to import all our assets. So for this, come to from computer, and in the zipped file which you have just unzipped, in that folder, select all these three resource files and click on open. So now all the files have been imported. So you have two textures and one patch file. I will select both the textures here, and then I will come again to the right hand side and I will set the compression on all the three platforms to none. Okay, this job is done. Now the next thing is to start building the game. I am going to click on this plus icon here, and I am going to start by adding an empty object. So if you have used Blender, you might be familiar that we used to use an empty object. Empty object is an empty container in which we are going to place the object. So for this, the first empty object, to create an empty object, I have to type null, and you get this null object. Click insert, double click it, and I am going to now name this as obstacle1. So the first, remember, the very first job I am doing is I have created a null object and I have added it. Now the next thing I am going to do is I need one more null object. So I am placing one big null object, and inside that I am placing another null object. So for this, I will again click on the plus and I am going to choose null, and I am going to add one more null object. Click insert, and I am going to name this second null object as up1 null. up1 null. Okay. Now I will drag this up1 null and make it the child of obstacle1, so that it is present inside the obstacle1 now. Now let us start adding our objects. So for the first object I am going to add here is, I am going to add a 2D plane. Okay. So I select the plane and I insert it, and I am going to name this plane as up1. So I will give it the name as up1, and I will drag this up1 and I will make it the child of up1 null. So remember the structure here. We have obstacle, inside obstacle we have up1 null, and inside up1 null we have up1. And I will select up1, I will come to position and I will set its position to 0.05 along the y axis. So it has slightly moved to the top. Now here I will select this up1 null, and I am going to set its vertical scale to around 3 and press enter. So, immediately you can see now you are seeing our first up obstacle. So, this is our first obstacle which comes from the top. Okay. Now, we have to create another obstacle for the downside. One obstacle is on the top, one obstacle is on the bottom. So, we have to create the second obstacle now. Now, for the bottom obstacle, you can select this up one null, this file, right click and choose duplicate. I have made a duplicate copy and I am going to rename this as now down one null, and in the name section I am going to give it the name as down 1. Now, only thing is, for this to come down, I will select down 1 and I will come to position here and I will set the position here to minus 0.05 and I will press enter. So, automatically you can see you have the down obstacle. So, we created one obstacle at the center, moved it to 0.5 and scaled it by 3. Similarly, we duplicated it and moved it to minus below, so it came down. So, we have two obstacle now, down one null and up one null, both placed in style this obstacle 1. Now, the thing is, I want this obstacle to keep moving, it has to keep moving. So, obstacles will be moving, and for this, with one obstacle it does not serve my purpose. I need two obstacles and we are going to then loop it. So, for this I am going to come here and I will select obstacle 1. Okay. This entire set I will select, right click and I will duplicate it. Press Ctrl D, it will duplicate. Now, you have obstacle 2. Okay, the name is okay. I will just add a space, and then instead of this up 1 null, this will be up 2. Then inside this one, instead of up 1, this will be up 2. Similarly, down 1 will be down 2 and this inside down 2 null and this will be down 2. So, rename it obstacle 2, up it up to null up to, down to null down to. So, we have two obstacles. Right now, it is placed just one above the other. So, adjusting the position, let us come to that later. We have added the two obstacles and we now need the player. The player is the bird. So, for this I will come over here and I will click here and I am going to add one more plane and I am going to click insert and I am going to call this name as bird. And then the thing is, entire thing we are controlling it with our face. As we move the face up and down, this bird has to move. So, the main controller is face. So, for this we have to come over here and we have to add the face tracker. Select this face tracker and insert. So, we have inserted the face tracker. So, right now what we shall do is, for all this let us add some material before we start using it. So, for this let us come to this material section now and I am going to create a material, and the first material I will create will be called as the bird material, and right now for this bird material I will just choose some color, some orange color, and now I will come here, I will select the bird and in the materials tab here I will select this bird. So, now you have that material applied here. Now, similar to that I will create one more material now and I am going to call this material as obstacle, and for this obstacle material I am going to again choose a color. Say for example, I am going to choose a blue color for this obstacle. Now, I will come back here and I will open obstacle 1 and up1 and I will select this up1 plane and I am going to give it the obstacle material. It is not visible right now because this obstacle 1 is present behind obstacle 2. So, again I will come back here and I will select down 1 and this also I will add the material obstacle. Then I will come to obstacle 2 and I will select up to and I will now add the material obstacle. Now, you can see the blue. Then again I will select down 2 and I will add the material obstacle. So, what we have now done is we have added the obstacle material to the up and down planes, and for the bird we have added a orange material, so that it is visible to us to see exactly how it works. Okay, now we are coming into the programming part, and for this programming part you already know, for that I have to come to the workspace and click on show patch editor, and in the patch editor now I am going to select this Flappy Bird game controller code which I have given it to you. You just drag it into this and you have this ready-made controller that is designed for you. So, this is a simple patch using which you can build this game, and in this patch controller, in this game controller, say for example, if you want to know what is inside it, you can just select this a button here, edit button. Okay, you just click on the edit button on the right hand corner and this will open. So, this is, if you see, the complete code which I have already given it to you. So, you can see here the different components of this. So, you have face 3D position which will unpack and you will get x and y coordinates, and then it is packed and added to 3D position. Then you have x bird, x tolerance, then you have the gap adjustment, then play speed, and all these parameters. You have validation, test, hit, test mode. So, all these nodes are already connected to you and has been made ready. So, here if I come back to main, so with all this I have this entire structure over here. I have created this structure using this code. Now, the next thing I want is, I want now to first select, come over here and select the face tracker which we had added and drag it into the patch editor. When you drag face tracker to the patch editor, it will automatically add 3 nodes. See, you have one face finder which is selected to face select, and it is connected to face tracker which has 4 outputs: face, 3D position, 3D scale and 3D rotation. So, now take this face 3D position and give it as the input. So, I have given it as the input. Now, from this input, what are we going to control? We are going to control the bird. So, I will select the bird here and I am going to now come to the properties here and select the position tab here. When I click on it, the position comes here, and if I drag here from bird 3D position to here, so automatically you can see as I am moving, the bird is moving. So, we have set up the scenario, and now we have, as the game is running, as I turn the head, the object is moving. We have done this setup. Our next job is to set up the obstacle. So, to set up the obstacle, if you come to this Flappy Bird code here, you can see the first option here is bird 3D position, which we have already connected it to the bird, and you have up 3D position, down 3D position, obstacle 1 and obstacle 2. We have 4 values here. So, for this, what I have to do is, now come to obstacle 1, open obstacle 1, and inside obstacle 1 you have up 1 null. So, here for this you select this up 1 null and click on this position arrow on the left hand side to bring its control in the patch editor. So, in the controller I now have up 1 null, and after this I am also going to select, I do not want down, it is down 1 null, the empty object. You should not take the actual object. I will select the down 1 null, add the position here for down 1 null, and next, similar to this, I will now take the obstacle 2, and in obstacle 2 I will select the up 2 null and add its position. Okay. and similarly I will select the down to null and I will add its position. So, I have added up all the 4 now, in up 1 up 2, down 1 down 2. Now, what I have to do is from the up 3D position I will drag and connect it to both up 1 and also to up 2, all both I am controlling it from here. You can automatically see the up has moved to the position, required position. Then I will select the down one to here and down another one down to here. Okay, the down has also moved. So, now we have set up the bird is connected and we have up 1 null and up 2 null, down 1 null and down 2 null connected. Now, next thing is you have to now select the whole obstacle now. Now, the selecting the obstacle 1, the entire null, I am going to click on the position and I am going to add this node over here below this. So, we had, say I will just drag and reconnect it, bird up 1 null, then up 2 null connected fine, then down 1 null is connected, down 2 null is connected, and below that I have added obstacle 1 position and I will also select obstacle 2 and I will click on position here to add its node, and now you just drag obstacle 1 position from this controller to obstacle 1 and the next is drag obstacle 2 to obstacle 2. Okay. So, now you have those 2 obstacles have gone out of your screen, you are not seeing here anymore. Okay, and you are only seeing the bird object which moves along with your head. Now, what has happened is, if you see in the 3D scene, both these obstacles have come outside the screen, they are out of the screen visible area. Okay, so, when we animate it now, it is going to run or it is going to move. Come over to the game controller, see that this test mode is on here, and then in play click on the play button, and now you can see I can move the this thing obstacle down and up. See, I have to move it and I have to make it move only in the gap. See, it has to run only in the gap, it has to move like this in the gap. See, like this I have to move it, but right now there is no game logic. Even if I hit the obstacle, nothing is happening. See, there is no action taking place when I hit the obstacle. So, for this now we have to prepare the logic. Now, the very first thing is I am going to add a dummy object which is first going to make us determine whether we have hit the object or not. So, for this I will stop the playback here. I will now come back to the scene and I will click on plus and I am going to add another plane now, and I am going to insert it and I am going to call this plane as pass. Pass means if the square or if my object passes through the gap, this will be visible, and for this pass I will create a material and I will give the material also name as pass, and in the color I am going to choose a bright green color for it. Then I will come to pass and here in materials I will choose the pass material, and then I will drag this up and I will keep it on the left hand corner like this. See, here when you are using, you can manipulate the object using the 3 tools here. This is to move, this is just like in Blender, you can drag and move it along y axis, x axis and z axis, and you can also rotate it and scale it. Okay. Now, I have moved it to the top of the screen and to the left hand side of the screen like this. Okay. Now, I am going to select this pass and I am going to press Ctrl D and duplicate it, and I am going to name the duplicate as hit, and I am going to drag this and place it on the right hand side, and this one I will give a different material and I am going to give the name as hit, and I will select this hit material and I will give a red color for it, and then come back here to hit and select the red to that. So, select the hit material to that. So, I have two materials on the top. So, when you are playing the game, if you pass through the gap, the green will appear. If you hit the obstacle, red will appear. You have these two colors. So, this should appear when I pass through the gap, green should appear. When I hit it, red should appear. So, means I am going to control its visibility. So, for this, now what I am going to do is, I will select the pass and you have this visible control on the left hand side. I will click on this and you will have this added in the code. I will drag this and I will drag the passed. There is one node here, hit and passed. I will drag the passed node from here. I will connect it to pass. Okay. So, if it is not passing, this will not be visible. Then I will select the hit, and for this, for the visible, I will add the node here. I will drag this hit node and I will drag from the visibility, sorry, where is hit? One second. Okay. So, I have connected it to past. You have one more here called hit. If you are not able to see it correctly, just move this entire code block once and all gets reconnected correctly. Then from hit, I will connect it here to hit. So, if it moves like this, just move it. And now what happens is, if I start playing the game now, see, observe it, I will start the game. When I pass, you will see green. If I hit, you see red, green, green, green. I hit it, you see red. I hit it, you see red. When I am hitting the obstacle, you see red, but if I do not hit the obstacle, you are seeing green. Can you understand the logic? So, whenever I am passing through it, I am seeing it as green, and when it is hitting it, it is becoming red. Okay. So, our prototype of the game is working. This is called as prototyping, where we are using colors and we are seeing whether the logic is working fine or not. So, we have prototyped this game and we have to now add the actual objects to it. Okay, now I will stop the playback. Let us add the right texture. Say for example, I will select the bird texture here, and in the color I am going to choose white color, and then in texture I am going to choose the bird texture. And once I choose the bird texture, sometimes I may have to actually refresh it once. I will refresh the game. So, then what we have to do is, I have to actually save it once and I have to refresh it once. I will refresh the game. Okay, now you can see it is coming. You refresh it 1 or 2 times, then you will get this display. Okay. Now, you are seeing the bird, and similarly for obstacle, I am going to add the obstacle material. Again here it becomes, sometimes it goes away. So, what you have to do is, you have to refresh the games 1 or 2 times, then see, now you are seeing, only thing is, for this obstacle, instead of blue color, even here change the color to white. Okay. So, now we have set the textures correctly. Only thing is, what is happening is, the bottom is okay, the top I should reverse it. See, I should reverse that pillar. So, for this what I will do is, I will go to obstacle 1, in up 1 null, I will select the up 1 and I am going to select and rotate it by 180 degree. So, when I rotate it by 180 degrees, see, 1 got rotated. So, similarly now I will go to down is fine. I will come to obstacle 2 and in up 2 I will select this up 2, and even in this I set its value also to 180 degree. So, now you can see both are moving, but for up 2, when I am playing the game, as you can see, obstacle 2 is appearing darker. The reason for this is, since it is a 3D object, we have some problem with the lighting. So, for this the solution is, what you can do is, I will stop the playback, you select the material bird 1 and here in shader tape change all this shader type to flat. Select obstacle also and change its shader type to flat, and once you change it to flat, now if I play it, you can now see both are appearing bright. So, that it light does not have any effect on it when we use the flat material. Okay. So, now the thing is, we have replaced the bird with the bird icon and the two actual obstacles are working fine, the logic is working fine. But now finally what I need is, I have to now put a score, so that when I pass through this, every time I pass, I have to get the score there 1, 2, 3 like that, the score has to keep moving. So, for this I will stop the playback again. Now, to add the score, I will come back here, I will close this obstacle 1, obstacle 2, all this thing. I will come to plus and I am going to type here text, because we are going to now add a text material. I will add a 2D text and I will click insert. So, immediately you can see the text appearing here, and I am going to call this text as score. I will call it as score, and for this score I am now going to actually set this score and then here in the text part I will actually put a number 0. So, anything you can put, and I will change the font size to around say 80. I will keep the font size as 80, and I will also change its color to white. Let us make it white, and I want it to be at the center. Now, here I am now going to, I have to make this come to the center. For this I will come to width and I will set it to relative, change this width to around 100 now. Okay. So, now I will set it to relative and set the width to 100, and this has been aligned to the center. Okay. Now, the next thing is, I want this score to change when this moves. So, for this what I am now going to do is, I am now going to select the text component, what should be visible, this number. When I click on it, you have this score text coming over here. I am going to drag this score text down. Okay. So, let us arrange this, hit pass here, I will bring the score here and I will drag this score and connect it to this score. Okay. So, I will just drag and readjust it. See, from the score of my patch I connected to this score, and now let us play the game and test it. So, now if I play the game, so I will start the playback. So, see, as I am moving, you can see the score is moving. So, if I hit, the score stops moving. See, if I go and hit somewhere, see, it is stopping at 6. So, the thing is, score moves only when this goes inside. Say, this is going now. Now, when it hits the pillars, the score is not moving, but when it passes, the score is moving. Okay. The score is working fine, but now we have to build the logic. We have to add a conclusion to this, so that when I hit the obstacle, the game should get over. So, for this I will stop the game playback. Actually, when as soon as I hit a obstacle, the bird should disappear. So, for this what I will do is, I will come to bird, and in bird I will add one visible node here, and this visible node of the bird, I have one node here called visibility bird. I will connect this to this, and after I connect this, now let us play the game and test it. So, now when I play it, see, I will just reset it. Okay, I will reset the game, and when I am playing the game, when I hit it, as of now you can see, even when I am hitting, the bird is not disappearing, because we have enabled test mode here. So, now I will stop the playback, I will switch off the test mode, reset it, and again click the play button, and now if you hit, see, the bird disappeared. Okay. Now, I will again reset it, and then now when I start the game, when I am moving, fine, the score is moving, but when I go and hit, the bird has disappeared. Now only thing is, now I need a game over message to appear. When as soon as this goes away, that is the bird goes away, I need a game over button. Now for this game over, what we shall do is, right now I will switch off the game, I will off the game, come back to the score here, right click and choose duplicate, and I will select the duplicate, and I am going to call this as game over, and even here in text I am going to type, I will remove this dynamic text here, and so here I will type game over, and then I will select this entire thing and I will bring it to the center, so that it is exactly at the center, and the next thing is it is slight, I will just move it to the left like this, I will adjust it, and then I will change the color to say for example a red color, and the thing is this should be visible, game over should be visible to me only when the game is over. Now understand the logic here, when the game starts the bird is there, and when the bird disappears I want the game over to appear. So again I am going to control the visibility. So I will click on the visible icon here on the left hand side, and I will get this node, visible node. So bringing this visible node over here, now what I have to now do is, for this visible node game over, I am going to connect the visibility bird node itself even to game over. Okay, so both I have connected the same node, but here what happens is, as of now if you run the game, so whenever the bird is visible, one second, I will enable the test mode, one second, I will just refresh it. So now both game over and bird are visible together. I will switch off the test mode. Okay, I will again start from the fresh. See, both are visible, and when I hit and when the bird disappears, both are going away, but it should be reversed. When bird is visible, game over should be off. When game over is visible, bird should be off. So for this, the best thing is to reverse a decision. We use a node, you already know it. You have to come here, add patch, and I am going to select a not patch here, and here I am going to click on add patch. So when I click on add patch, you get the not node, and with this not node I have to connect this not node, this game over to not, and from where is this, from the bird I have to now connect it to not, and from not I am going to take to game over. So now what happens is, when the bird is visible, game over will be absent, and when bird is absent, game over will be visible. Now let us test this. So when I test this logic now, I will refresh and start the game. So when the bird is visible and it is running, but when I hit, see, I got the game over button. Okay. Now only other thing that is pending now is, I doesn't want these two, that is this hit and pass to be visible to me when I am playing the game. So for this again, this node is already added in this game controller. I will switch off the playback. Now you have one more here, test mode. Now what I have to now do is come over here, and I will add one more null object here, and I am going to call this, I will add a null object, and I am going to call this null object as indicator, and I will select this pass and hit both this, and I will drag it inside this indicator null object. And then now see, as of now what is happening, when I start the game here, you can see when the, I will just reset it, and when the game starts, when I am hitting it, you are seeing that red is visible as of now. So what I am now going to do is, I will stop the game, I will select this indicator visibility, I will add a tag for this indicator visibility. I have one test mode here, I will drag it and connect it to this indicator. Now what happens is, when the test mode is off and when you are playing the game, see, the thing is, I will start the game by pressing the play button. See, now the thing is, it is, you are not seeing these two red buttons, but if I hit it, the game is over. But if I enable the test mode and if I run the game, now you can see this is visible. So this is just to make you understand how this logic works. Everything is working fine. Now only thing is, instead of starting the game by pressing the start button here, play button here, we need some trigger. So just like last time, the trigger we are going to use is tap to play. So for this, now what I am now going to do is, I will take the thing is, I will come here, add patch, and here I am going to search for a patch called as tap. I will select as screen tap. I will add this screen tap patch. Okay, screen tap, I will select it and click add patch. I have the screen tap, and like last time, I should also add a switch. I will select the switch, and for switch I am going to add the switch. So now I am going to connect the screen tap to switch on, and this I am going to connect it to the play button. Now if I save this file and if I refresh it and if I start it, the game won't start until I tap. So I will click here, I will come to this simulator and choose simulate touch, and now when I click on it, you can see the game started. See, as I am moving, it is moving. See, now if I hit the obstacle, it says the game is over. Okay. Now apart from this, there are many controls that you have here in this Flappy Bird control. Some of the controls are, the gap can be controlled using this gap. See, the gap can be less or more. See, you can control the gap through this. I have set it to around 0.3. You can set the difficulty level based on this gap. And the second is variation. If I keep the variation 0, now see, all the gaps are coming at the same height. But if I increase the variation, see the gaps, if I keep it to maximum, see, one will be down, one will be up, there will be a huge variation. I will set this value to 0.8, sorry, this should be 0.8. Okay. So now you have, the thing is, these things are working fine. So all the logic of the game is working. Now go to file, choose save, and if you want to test it, you can test it on the device. You click on test here, go to add experience, click on add experience, and in sharing effect click on insert. I will select both Instagram and Facebook and click, select this and click done, and then come back here to test on device and select Instagram or Facebook and click send and wait for some time. This filter will now be uploaded to Spark Hub. So now you have the link, you open the test link, you can copy this link. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to mail this link to me, or otherwise if you want to permanently share it, then you permanently publish it. What you can do is, I will come here and click on publish, and in publish you have one option here called export. Click on export. Now in your folder where you have this Flappy Bird, name this as flappybird_game.ar export and click save. So now if you share this exported file, this game AR export, which is around 1.5 MB, this you can open it in Spark Player and you can start playing. So with this we have concluded our, that is the next game, that is the new game, the Flappy Bird game. So we have completed 2 ready-made games. We use some ready-made code blocks and we have built this game, and in the next session we are going to build one AR game right from scratch, where all the coding will be done manually. We will be doing it in our next session. Thank you.